you got to take advantage of the expansion program for SBA. So we're able to do it without you bringing much cash to the table. And then we were still able to give you some working capital. So that was a wonderful way of kind of adding on without having to come out of pocket with a bunch of cash. We'd rather you hang on to your liquidity and get you some working capital. So.
Yeah, and I wasn't even aware of that until I can't remember when we touched base. Maybe it was the end of 2023, and you kind of laid that out, and I was like, "Wow, that's awesome. let's do it."
Yeah, it was something new at that point anyway, so it was good to get you to be able to take advantage of it. One thing that I know a lot of people are starting to really pay more attention to, which is great. Having done this for a really long time, we didn't have people that were really, really concerned about working capital, 10, 15 years ago. Now I'm seeing it a lot more where they're building it into the deal or the bank's providing it, but there's become a better focus on it. When you took over, the first one, the second one, did you have any issues with that at all? If somebody's thinking about needing working capital, maybe you could provide a little bit of advice on kind of how to manage that.
I'm sure each industry is a little bit different, and even on the HVAC side, it varies quite a bit from residential to commercial. And just for example, like on the commercial side, if a lot of these large commercial clients that we have, it may be 90, 120 days before we get paid on anything. Whereas with our vendors, we're paying every 30 days. At the end of the month, we're getting the bill from them, right? And this equipment, these packaged rooftop units, those things can be quite expensive, 10, 15 grand. You just have to kind of run your numbers and figure out how much cash you're going to need. On the residential side, the great thing about residential is we get paid right when the job's done, and so there's not as much need for as much working capital on the residential side. And so I think it's just knowing the business that you're in, knowing those numbers and planning ahead, because I think like kind of what I was talking about earlier with that one deal early on that was strictly commercial. I was going to need like 250,000 in working capital just to kind of keep the doors open while we tried to kind of turn the ship around, right? Because it was kind of heading in the wrong direction. And that was part of what it just wasn't going to work out, because by the time we buy the business, you get the working capital, the numbers just didn't work out. Whereas with Uniserv, we definitely got some working capital, but we didn't need. I think we got like 50,000 working capital, so we didn't need a tremendous amount, and the ship was already headed in the right direction. We just needed to help to grow it, So yeah, I think it's just knowing the business, knowing the industry, and having a good plan in place for making sure you have the right amount of working capital. I wasn't coming to the table as, somebody with hundreds of thousands in the bank either, where I could kind of rely on that. And so that was part of my calculations as well. It's like, hey, what am I going to need? And if things don't go quite as planned, having a little bit of wiggle room there, and yeah, just making sure we had a good plan in place.
Great, yeah. So did you end up combining the two and changing one of the names, or did you keep them separate? And what was kind of your strategy there?
So the first business was Uniserv Air Conditioning, and that's really what we operate as today. And so when we brought on Advantage Mechanical, we still created the DBA for Advantage Mechanical, put it under the same LLC, all that good stuff. But really early on with the residential customers, we sent out a letter, postcard, emails, all that stuff, and said Advantage Mechanical is merging with Uniserv Air Conditioning, and we kind of told the whole story, right? The previous owners, they're looking to retire from the HVAC business, and here we are as Uniserv. Here's who we are. Here's what we're about. We're still here to take care of you, and I think it was well received. Looking in the database, there was a couple of people that didn't call us back, but for the most part, all of the maintenance customers stayed on board. We still got calls from those customers this summer when they had issues. The Advantage Mechanical also had a pretty large commercial client base as well. And so on that side, commercial is a little bit different. And so we actually kind of wrote out that Advantage Mechanical kind of business, if you will, for through this past summer, and we kind of operated as Advantage Mechanical with those commercial customers. Once we were kind of in there 3 or 4 times, working with them and getting to know them, then we kind of shared, hey, here's what's happened, and hey, we've been doing this for a few months for you now. We're the same guys. We're just, we're going to change the name on the invoice now. And they were like, oh, okay, cool. And
Yeah,
so
no, that was smart of you too, though, to kind of figure out how to do it the right way. If you would have done it right away, they may have kind of been like, whoa, what's going on here? So it was smart of you to kind of figure out how to do it and when to do it at the right time.
kind of like we were talking about earlier, I think humans are just, they like things to stay the same. And so we didn't want to spook them, for a lack of a better term, to where they're like, wait a minute, who are you? What's going on? And so when we're able to walk through the door with some of the Advantage Mechanical people and then just throw in, a Uniserve guy here or there, and then, before you know it, it's, Uniserve and Advantage Mechanical guys. Because I think at the end of the day, people just want to be taken care of. And when they have those relationships and they know that, hey, you're not trying to pull something over on them, we're just guys that live right down the road from you, taking care of your location, and then I think people feel comfortable with that. And yeah, as long as you do a good job and be trustworthy, then they can trust you.